Hello guys, so we are going to continue the discussion with respect to Python, and in this video we are going to discuss about SQL and SQLite. Now first of all, we'll also understand the difference between SQL and SQLite. So first of all, we'll just go ahead and understand the definition, what exactly it is, and I hope everybody knows about SQL, structured query language, and you may have also written a lot of code maybe in your company, even though you're a fresher, that you have that specific subject in most of your syllabus, right? So in this video, I will be showing you how we can work with SQLite database, how you can connect it with the help of code, how you can insert records, how you can probably perform all the Crud operations with respect to this. So SQL, that is structured query language, is a standard language for managing and manipulating relational databases. And SQLite is a self-contained, serverless and zero configuration database engine that is widely used for embedded data systems, right? Now, the basic difference over there is that SQL is completely a huge thing, right? It is a complete application over there, which will actually help you to manage the relational databases. There you really have a lot of configuration that you really need to perform. It is not serverless, you need to probably set up that entire server and do everything. But, the SQLite, which is a lightweight version of SQL, without any configuration, you can actually create this particular database and even store it in your local system. Right, that is the reason it is widely used for embedded database system itself, right? So simple, it's just like a file. You'll be able to see that. I'll be able to store it in my local machine also. So first of all, by default in Python 3, right, SQLite comes installed. So in order to first of all import it, I will just go ahead and write import SQLite3. Okay, and for this I will go ahead and select my kernel. Please make sure that you do that, and I'll just go ahead and execute it. Okay. So this SQLite3, we will try to probably create by using this particular library. We'll try to create a database. We'll try to insert the record and do multiple things. So first of all, let's connect to an SQLite database. So we will first of all go ahead creating a database, right? And we definitely require that SQLite database. How to probably go ahead and create a database over here? We'll use the SQLite3 dot connect. I'm just going to use this connect function, and then let's say I want to go ahead and create an example.db database itself, right? So this will basically be my connection over here, right? So if I go ahead and execute it, you will be able to see this will be my connection, and connection is not defined. Okay, I made some spelling mistake. Now it is fine. So this is nothing but it is a SQLite connection at this particular location. Let's see whether in my folder location this particular DB file is created. Yes, the answer is very much clear. Here you can see my DB file is basically created, and that is the reason, as I said, we'll be able to store this without any configuration. We'll be able to create it in our local system, right? So it will be very, very handy when we work with embedded system altogether, right? Now we will go ahead and create a cursor object, which will make sure that it will iterate through all the tables, rows. So that is the reason of we really need to create a cursor, right? So first of all, we will go ahead and create a cursor, and with respect to this cursor, I will just go ahead and write connection.cursor. Okay, so this is how we basically go ahead and create it. Okay, so this is my cursor over here. So let me make the spelling right. Okay, now the first step is that we will go ahead and create a table. Obviously, we have created our database. Now inside a database, we really need to create a table. Now we need to create this particular table by using the same cursor object. Okay, so here in order to create it, we'll just go ahead and say, hey, cursor.execute. And now whatever is my command to probably create my entire table, that is what I'm actually going to use it over here, right? So the query, right? What I'll do, I'll go ahead and write create table. If not, let's say if not, I'll use if not exist. Right, let's say I'm going to go ahead and create my employees table, and this will basically be my brackets, right? Now with respect to this employees table, what I'm actually going to do is that first of all, I'm going to use ID, and this ID will be nothing but, let's say this is an integer. Let's say this is an integer. After creating that integer, I will say, hey, this is my primary key. Okay, along with the primary key, I have to make sure, see, at any point of time, whatever tables you specifically create, you really need to create a primary key. Okay, then the next parameter will be name, and I will give a varchar. You can also write it as text, and this will also be not null because we really need to give this particular value at any point of time. Okay, the third parameter that we are going to give over here is nothing but age, which will be integer, right? You can also go ahead and write int, but right now I'm using integer, and then we'll also go ahead and write department, which will again be a text. Right, so this is my entire table information that I have with all the information over here. Now if I want to really execute this, right? So I'll just go ahead and press Shift Tab so that let's keep the formatting very much simple. Okay. Here you can see this is closed and this bracket is also closed. Now, in order to execute how to probably create a table, right? I will just go ahead and write, hey, commit, sorry. See, I'm already executing this entire thing, right? Cursor.execute, right? And then after this thing is basically executed, when this line of code is executed, I'll be able to see a table which is called as employees. And then finally, we also need to commit the changes, right? So committing the changes is very simple. I just have to write connection.commit. Okay. Without this, the committing will not happen. So if I go ahead and execute it, here you can see, hey, perfectly it has got executed. Everything is fine over here. And it has got successfully executed in short. Okay. And right now, if you go ahead and just execute again, right? So I'll copy this over here. I'll paste it over here. And let's say if I just go ahead and write my command, select star from this employees. Okay. If I go ahead and execute it, you'll be able to see that, okay, I'm getting an instant text error. Okay. Now it should get executed. Here you can see that I'm getting an object. So some data is basically getting returned. That basically means I'm able to execute this particular command, right? After I create it, right? Don't worry. I'll be showing you how you can read this entire data that is available inside this particular table. But before that, what we really need to do is that we need to insert some data. So let's go ahead and insert some data. So for this, I will go ahead and write insert the data in SQLite3. Okay. SQLite database or table, or I'll say table, right? And we are using that particular database, as you all know, that is nothing but example.db. Okay. Now, how to insert it? Again, I will be using cursor.execute. Okay. Cursor.execute. And here I'm going to probably go ahead and write my insert statement, right? So how do I insert records? So it'll be nothing but insert into employees, and there are three parameters. What is name, age, department? Okay, name, age, department. And here specifically we are going to use values, and with respect to values, I'll just go ahead and add my information. Let's say Krish 32, and let's say I am a data scientist. So I'm just going to add this entire record over here. Okay. Now, similarly, I need to insert some more records. So let me do one thing. Let me just copy some more records similarly. And we just need to execute this insert command inside cursor.execute. So here I'm adding Bob, engineering, Charlie, 35 in finance and all. Okay. And finally, I have to say connection.commit. So this will basically go ahead and execute my, it'll just do the commit of this particular code. Okay. So connection.commit. Okay. So here we are just going to commit the changes. That is basically the insertion. So if I go ahead and execute this, you will be able to see that it has got successfully executed. Now let me do one thing. Let me just go ahead and execute this, or if I really want to query any data, how do I query it? Let's see. So querying the data from SQLite3 from the table, or from the table itself, right? How do I query it? So again, what I will do, I'll go ahead and write cursor.execute, and here I'm just going to use my command. Okay. What will be the command over here? Select star from employees. Okay. Now after executing it, once I execute it, I have to probably get the rows, right? So rows, we can get it. I just need to use cursor.fetchAll. Okay. So fetch all is one function that we specifically use to get all the records from the select star command. Okay. Once I get the rows, we can go ahead and print the queried rows, the queried data. Okay. So we can go ahead and print the queried data. So let's go ahead and print this. So I'll say for rows in row, sorry, for row in rows. Okay. We are just going to print the row. Okay. So once I execute it, here you can see in tuple format, I'm able to get Krish 32 data scientist, Bob 25 engineering, and Charlie 35 finance. So what all things we basically did, I showed you how to create a database, how to connect to a database, then how to create a table. If that table does not exist, also how you can create. And always make sure whenever you execute this kind of command, any CRUD operation that you are doing, you have to probably write connection.commit, right? Then here you can see inserting the data into SQLite. I've actually done this also. Okay, let's say that I want to update the data in the table. How do I do that? Okay, update the data in the table. Okay, so in order to do that, again, I'll go ahead and write cursor.execute. Okay, and with respect to this particular execute function, I will go ahead and write my update SQL command, right? I hope you're familiar with SQL. So I'll just go ahead and write it, update employees. Okay, so this will be my function, that is employees. And here I'll say set update employees. Okay, and I'll say set age is equal to 34. Let's say I'm going to set the age 34, where the name equal to Krish. So I'm going to basically execute this particular command. So wherever the name is Krish in the record, I'm just going to update the age from, initially I gave 32. Now I'm actually going to give 34. Okay. So once I execute it, and again, after doing this, I have to commit. If you don't commit it, guys, you'll get an error where you will not be able to see the updated records. So here you can see unrecognized token. Okay, fine. Krish. Okay. Where name is equal to Krish. So this is basically executed. Now I can again go ahead and print all these things. And here you can probably see I will be getting my row as 34. So this has also got updated. Okay. So we are just focusing on the entire Crud statement, right? Where Crud execution statements. I've shown you how to do the select, insert data, query the data, update the data. Now after this, I will also show you how to delete the data from the table. So let's go ahead and delete the data from the table. Okay, so with respect to deleting the data from the table, I will again go ahead and write cursor.execute. And here I will just go ahead and use multi-line characters so that I will be able to execute it. So I'll go ahead and write delete from employees. Okay, delete from employees where name is equal to, let's say I go ahead and delete this record called as Bob. And here again, I will go ahead and write connection dot commit. Okay, execute it. Bob where name, delete from employees where name, okay, capital, where, okay, it should be fine, it should be smaller, capital, delete from employees where name is equal to Bob. Let's see, it says near form, cursor.execute, delete from, okay, form, it should be from. Simple mistakes will definitely be there, so don't worry about it. Now if I'll go ahead and print all my rows by just writing select star from queries or whatever data I have, you'll be able to see that I only have 2 records. Okay, so I'm not going to edit whatever errors I'm specifically getting, so that you should be able to see this entirely, right? Now let me show you one entire project. So here I'll be working with sales data. Okay, now first thing first, what I'm actually going to do, I'll first of all connect to a SQLite database. Okay, so this is how you can connect it, SQLite.connect sales_data.db. This is my cursor. We'll create a table for sales data, create table if not exists, sales ID is there, integer, data text not null, product text not null, sales integer, region, right? And then after probably doing that, we will go ahead and insert some of the data, right? Sales data. So in order to insert, this time I've actually given this kind of list, and I've given all the values in tuples based on the 4 values, right? Whatever 4 values are the ID, integer. ID is a kind of a primary key, right? So here you can see date, product, sales, and region is basically given. So here are all my values. Now I will just go ahead and write connection.commit. Okay, so we have inserted this entire records, right? 4 records. Now in order to probably get all the records, I can see one more thing, guys. Right now I should not be had executed this because I need to insert this entire sales data. Right now there are so many different records in this sales data. How do I insert so many different cells at once? Because previously you have seen about cursor.execute, and we executed all the insert statement. Now I'll be showing you how you can do the bulk insertion also. So for this I will be using cursor.execute many. Okay, so if I go ahead and basically write this cursor.execute many, and inside this I will use my triple quotes just to make sure that I write my query over here. So here I'm going to write insert into sales, and here the value are like date, product sales region, okay, region values, and here I'll just give 4 question mark, 3 and 4, okay. And along with this 4 question mark, I know I have to replace this particular question mark with something else, right? And how do I do that? So here what I will do, I will just give it over here like sales underscore data, right? And this will basically be my entire sales data, which will get replaced it over here, right? So if I go ahead and execute it, and finally now I can go ahead and do my connection dot commit. Now it should execute it, okay? So connection dot commit, okay. If I go ahead and execute it, so here you can see all the insertion may have happened. Now in order to check, I will just go ahead and write the same thing with respect to the, so here you can see all the records are basically there. I've just used select start from sales and all. Now if you really want to permanently close the connection, right, close the connection, that basically means you'll not have access to any DB as such. So you can just go ahead and write connection dot close. This is the last statement that you can basically use, okay. Now if you probably go ahead and see cursor.execute, if I try to execute this again, it will give us an error, okay, because we have closed the connection, cannot operate on a closed database. See this? So I hope you were able to understand all these things. Multiple examples, quickly I've actually shown you importance of SQLite database and how easy it was probably to create. If you are familiar with somewhere with SQL of writing commands and all, I think you should be very much easily able to understand, okay. So like how we have used execute many, right? Over here, execute cursor.execute we have used. Here you can see execute many. You can also go ahead and write cursor.insert many, right? So there is also a method which you can go ahead and try it out. So I hope you like this particular video. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you.